Meet our hapless hero, who's just blinked back to life, firmly in the Moonbear King's clutches.
Kutaro.
You'd be forgiven for wondering just what the hell Puppeteer is. After all, its announcement at Gamescom 2012 was, in typical Sony style, devoid of any useful information at all. And despite an admittedly brief showing at E3 this year, we're still wondering why we should be excited by Japan Studio's latest. Fortunately, the Code Fairy did us a solid and dropped off a shiny new disc of Puppeteer joy for us. And so, in the spirit of sharing, here are 7 reasons we think Puppeteer deserves its time in the spotlight.
So skinny.
Puppeteer is inspired by Japanese puppet theatre called bunraku. No, we'd never heard of it either, but it does mean that Puppeteer works in a rather unique way. There's no side-scrolling like a typical platformer. Instead, the sets dynamically change and shift around you, transporting you from scene to scene. Various theatrical effects like fog, set pieces, and the cheers, boos, and sympathetic cries of an audience react to your actions, creating a brilliant sense of atmosphere.
And while tonight was no exception, it would prove to be quite exceptional.
Think of Puppeteer like a cross between Little Big Planet, Super Mario Bros. And Monty Python. And if that doesn't interest you, well, you're dead inside.
Get me out of here!
Puppeteer is pretty wacky. Sure, there are many traditional fairy tale elements like a witch, a princess, and a powerful knight, but they're given a dark twist. Like, the whole premise behind the game is that a guy kidnaps you, called Moonbear King, and you're turned into a puppet, and then your head gets eaten. Harsh. But it works, and the tale of kidnapping and later enslaved children adds a darker tone to what would otherwise be a sickly sweet magical adventure.
Magnificent, Kutaro.
Well, you're about 3 feet too short and 3 hours too late. But thanks. Like, seriously.
If you thought the story was kind of weird, wait till you see the characters. Other than Kotaro, the protagonist, there are his companions, the feisty and opinionated pixie Picarina, and the absurd flying cat Yin Yang. And that's just the beginning. The first few hours of the game introduce you to a huge cast of imaginative characters, including a giant tiger and enemies that contain the souls of kidnapped puppet children. And who doesn't love a giant tiger? No one. That's who.
Here, help me sharpen my...
Why, one more, and then another after that.
Sure, voice acting has got better in recent times, but that doesn't mean there aren't a few stinkers out there. Fortunately, Puppeteer's is great. The voice actors perform their lines convincingly, and their over-the-top delivery is well suited to the game's theatrical style, bringing characters like the tyrannical Moonbear King and the evil witch to life.
My scissors! I don't want to go back to me!
The narrator's great too, and not only tells the story, but also interacts with the characters. It even sometimes dictates the pace, and you have no choice but to slow it down and take it all in.
Once upon a time, I once upon a now. This is my Moongees, so just get to the part where I sound good.
Right. Yes, of course. Of course. Not even the steepest tower walls could stop Kutaro.
Puppeteer's action is a lot of fun. It's fast-paced, effortlessly switching between traditional platforming and puzzles to scissor-based combat. There are always new things to see and do, and each level flows seamlessly into the next. The platforming elements aren't at a punishing difficulty level, at least not at the beginning, although some of the puzzles can lead to a little head-scratching. The magical scissors that Kotaro finds are your only real weapon, but it introduces some really interesting mechanics that have you cutting your ways through levels, fabrics, and enemies.
It's almost like pink snow.
Alright, let's get this out of the way. Puppeteer looks awesome. The graphics are beautifully rendered and the art style is charming and extremely tactile. Puppeteer seems to draw inspiration from the Little Big Planet games, so much so that you'd be forgiven for thinking they had been created by the same Sony studio. At the same time, Japan's studio manages to infuse Puppeteer with its own dark, mysterious fairy tale aesthetic and unique blend of East and West, a testament to the game's mix of cultural inspirations. Lastly, there's co-op, which is always a great addition if you can rope in a friend. If you're playing by yourself, you can control Yin Yang or pick Arena with the right analog stick, but with a second player, they can control your companion for you. As the second player, you can scout ahead, find hidden objects and areas, locate new heads, and more, and that's only in the first few hours of the game. There are constantly new things to find and new ways to explore the environment.
There's that head symbol again.
It would be easy to dismiss this wacky game by Japan's studio as just another platformer dressed up in an undeniably charming package, but that would be a mistake. Puppeteer is a really interesting game, with some clever touches that make it far more interesting than your average puzzle platformer. We're certainly excited, but what do you guys think? Drop us a comment below or hit us up on Facebook and Twitter. And for more on the charming fairy tale of Puppeteer, just head over to GameSpot.com.
Watch as I devour all that stands in my path.